Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story, it comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. There is a trigger warning on it of possible sexual assault, so if you do want to skip the story, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. It's from Hoi Pinoy 626 who says, am I overreacting? Girlfriend deleting texts with her acro-yoga partner. And if you're as clueless as me, acro-yoga is exactly what you think it is. It's a mix between acrobatics and yoga, apparently, according to Google, of course. And it says, I'll try to keep this short, even though it's a long story. Her 21 female and I 22 male have been together since high school, and we have never been with anyone else. Her and I were always very close. We really had no other friends. All of a sudden, a few months ago, she became very social. She started making lots of friends at her CrossFit gym and got close with Adam, 45 male. Her and him became partners for a competition together, which required extensive training, sometimes going into the night, and they also became acro-yoga partners, intimate couple yoga. I was never okay with this, and I unfortunately was too nervous to speak up about it. Over time, I hinted at how I truly felt, but didn't tell her that it was not okay with me until a couple of months of this happening. Throughout this time, she and him became very close and texted nearly every day, mostly friendly stuff. I might say he was testing the waters with some flirtatious stuff, but I also could just be paranoid. Eventually, I manned up and told her I wasn't okay with her being this close to this guy. I told her she can be friends, but I don't want them texting like this or doing acro-yoga together. She agreed to stop both, but not too much later, I found out she was still texting him, but deleting messages so I wouldn't see them. She stopped talking to him after I discovered this, until she decided to attend his going away party as he was moving away. Luckily, he's gone, but if he wasn't, I imagine they would still be hanging out. Now to me, this is screaming emotional affair. They did talk about relationship issues at times, but the fact that she is so connected to this guy that she can't stop and hides it from me crosses the line. It's been about 2 months and we have been very distant. I've been away and we've been sitting with this. She begs me every day to come back, saying she wants to start over. And now she sees what she did wrong. The thought of losing her hurts so badly. But I feel like I would have no self-respect if I stayed. Am I overreacting about her deleting these texts? Is this worth losing a 5-year relationship over? Edit. Thank you for all the advice. I'm going to try and end it when I get back to town in a couple of days. I'm terrified that I get sucked back in, but I will try not to. Now there certainly was some red flags straight away, wasn't there? I mean, the 45-year-old man becoming very close with a 21-year-old woman who's never been with anyone else. I mean, you know, the deleting the texts and hiding them after promising to stop, and she only stopped when he literally left town. I mean, it's all worrying, right? And I'd never heard of acro-yoga before. OP describes it as an intimate couples yoga. There were some commenters below saying, is it really? A person who actually does it says, yeah, it can be pretty intimate, lots of touching, eye contact, and basically if you're the flyer, the person that's being held up and all this kind of stuff, you're trusting the person that's holding you into these, and and you get put into different positions, etc., etc. And all I can say is, I just did a quick Google images. All I put in was acro-yoga just to see if I could see some of the positions that they get put in, etc. And try to imagine how I would feel if a partner was with like this situation, what was going on. And if I'm being completely honest, don't know if it's going to make me insecure or not. I wouldn't be happy about it. But again, just looking at the fact that, you know, she's hiding the text from you, it is really concerning, and I would say not overreacting. A commenter says to OP, not overreacting, but also, why don't you have any friends who aren't the other? In a codependent relationship that's been together since high school, it makes a lot of sense that the first guy she goes to acro-yoga with, how the fuck did she even find a class like this, suddenly shows her that the world is much bigger than you. If you choose to leave this relationship, make communication and external relationships a priority in your next one. Opie replied saying, I literally have 0 friends. This is why it hurts me so badly. Opie then responds to another commenter about ending the relationship and doing what's right for himself if his girlfriend is concealing from him, and then says, this post has validated me a bit, but before this I didn't really know if I was overreacting or not. Our families are very close, like very close at this point, and it would hurt many more than just her and I. Commenter says, dude, that hurt that they may feel is on her. She put her relationship with that guy above yours repeatedly. She lied about, hid, and continued it until he was gone. Not until she chose you over him, until he was no longer an option. It's only now that he's gone that she is trying to get you back. All negative consequences of her actions are hers to own, not yours. Don't be her second choice just so everyone else feels better. Opie says, I honestly want to tell her parents what she did, so I don't feel bad about splitting it up. I know that is probably toxic and horrible, but this is one of my biggest reservations. Someone says, is the acro-yoga partner in a relationship? Opie says no, he is divorced. So it was 6 days after that post. Opie came in with an update and said, updating because I had a few people ask for one. She told me I could go through her phone yesterday as there was nothing else she was hiding. I did, and I found a text to her sister in which she said, I kissed Adam at his going away party, and shortly after, well, he kissed me. This kiss happened 2 to 3 weeks ago. Throughout these 2 to 3 weeks, she has repeatedly reassured me that nothing happened, even kissing when I asked specifically. She said he ran down as she was leaving to say bye and kissed her. She said that she pushed him off and he instantly left, but I don't know if I can believe that. She said that the kiss lasted for 1 second. I hate myself because somehow I still feel bad for breaking up with her over this. She didn't kiss him, he kissed her. She was just naive to his flirtatious behaviors that I warned her about repeatedly. Why should I punish her for what he did? But at the same time, I don't think I can ever look at her in the same way again. I don't 100% believe the story she told me, and although I'm mostly certain that they didn't fuck, though I was mostly certain they didn't kiss too, I feel there was a bit more behind that kiss for her than she describes. She is begging me to try again. We've been together for 5 years, high school sweethearts, and have never been with anyone else. I've had 0 friends over the past 5 years, only her. I wish I had a bit more self-respect to just end it. I cannot imagine a life without her. Side question, I'm considering reaching out to her affair partner to let him know how much of a piece of shit he is. Is this a bad call? He knew she was in a relationship. A commenter asks OP, have you asked her why she chose to lie to you instead of being honest about what happened from the start? Don't reach out to the guy. That will just give him the opportunity to be rude and disrespectful to you directly. He does not care what you think of him. Opie says she was trying to protect herself. She is aware of it. I am too. I get it. I understand why she wants to protect herself. She said she was planning on telling me eventually, but I honestly don't believe that. Commenter replies saying, protect herself from what? I assume she means from you. Do you have a temper? Opie says no, absolutely not. From me, as she doesn't want me to get mad at her. She doesn't want me to break up with her. I absolutely don't have a temper and would never lay a finger on her. Sometimes when I get really mad, like last night, I yell. That is the extent of it. Commenter says, in all seriousness, no, you shouldn't reach out to the yoga partner. The one who violated your trust and lied to you is your partner. Reaching out to him will not solve anything. It is a red flag that you do not have any other friends other than her. Mistakes happen, sure, but she chose to lie to you about it for weeks. Do you really think you deserve that? Opie says I'm a very social person, but I really don't like getting close to people. Not sure why I'm this way, but yes, I know it's a red flag. I just want to fucking kill this guy. He's an old ass man preying on a 21-year-old. It's not going to happen as he has since moved away across the world. I'm just horribly angry. Commenter says, a kiss was forced on her. Not right of her to lie, but she's saying some guy kissed with no warning, which isn't really her fault. Maybe she was scared to get mad or do something to the guy over a kiss that, in her mind, they'd already moved on from. She still has to go to that gym, and I don't know if he has some influence over the social circle there. Might make her life harder, plus she went through a creepy experience so may not want others to know. She should have told you though. I think have a conversation about honesty in the future and ask if she cuts off contact with the guy since he's disrespectful of both your boundaries and relationship. Edit. Ugh, sorry I missed this said in an update. It was very stupid of her to stay in touch with that guy when you said no. He may or may not have forced a kiss onto her, but then she lied about it. Maybe it's just all one big innocent mistake on her part, but she's got to learn. And you should consider moving and she can fix her behaviors up for her next partner. You shouldn't put up with it. End edit. OP replied saying he moved away a day after she kissed him. Luckily, he is mostly cut off. He still sends her Instagram memes, which makes me furious. I honestly just don't believe that she didn't reciprocate the kiss. She chose this guy over me multiple times, which leads me to believe this crush a bit less one-sided than I thought. Thank you for your advice. Commenter says, how the hell hasn't she blocked him? She's an absolute moron. Yes, of course she liked him, liked the attention and fostered the affair. That's why she's still reaching out. Do you think if he forced her to kiss him, he'd be sending her memes? He'd be embarrassed and drop contact. No, he'd send memes due to their reciprocated kiss, which shows him she's interested. Opie says, I'm really upset that she hasn't blocked him. Thank you for highlighting the fact that if it was awkward and not reciprocated, he likely wouldn't still be reaching out. I didn't catch that before. Opie then responds to comments about the kiss and if it was on purpose between his girlfriend and the partner. Opie says, I can't see a kiss on the lips as a friendly thing. He later texted her, allegedly, that he did it because he wanted her to know how he really felt about her. And thank you. Honestly, the more I look at it, the more I feel like she wanted the kiss and she had feelings for this guy. I know it doesn't matter, but I can't get it out of my mind. Commenter says, the way those two texts play out, that she first says she kissed him, makes me think it's something she'd intended to do, and he just happened to take the initiative first. I didn't believe her pushed away explanation. I'm curious what her sister said in response. Was her sister aware of the context of the kiss being a shared mutual attraction or crush? Did her sister know you thought their relationship was tainted? If she was honest with her sister about the kiss, what else was she honest with her sister about with respect to this guy that she was lying to you about? Opie says, I know, and that is why I shared both of the texts because it really seems like it was forced upon her. She wouldn't say, I kissed him. She said her sister was sad because it had been such a long and good relationship. My girlfriend told her that we were broken up at the time, which we weren't. I broke up with her about a week later and then got back together a bit after that. I'm not close with her sister, but we're friends and she is very sweet. Yo, we haven't got to mention this in a long time, but the trickle-truthing is real here, right? It started with nothing happened, then it went to he kissed me, and then, well, I kissed him, but actually he kissed me, to still receiving Instagram memes from him. Absolutely, OP shouldn't be getting in contact with that guy. That it will, like some of the commenters were saying, absolutely achieve nothing in the end. He knew about you, he didn't care. He's a piece of shit and doesn't care. And he's not your problem. She is. I mean, she chose him even before the kiss. She chose him repeatedly. She maintained that connection. She lied to you. And I personally think it's just time to be done with it. It sounds in some ways that would be almost good for you as well because, you know, you mentioned about having 0 friends for 5 years, only her. Which of course makes this situation even more difficult for you, but in some ways it'd be good for you at the same time because you've lost yourself completely in this relationship and gives you a new chance to get out there, socialize with other people, make new friends, and hopefully build something a lot healthier. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from Winston Duarte from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit, and it says, would I be the arsehole for not leaving the house for one weekend as requested? Hello, I need an outsider's perspective on this. I try to be understanding, but I am fuming. I think someone who is not living in this apartment would have a more neutral view on this. The situation. We live in a 3-bedroom apartment with 3 parties. We are all students and pay equal amounts of rent. I am Winston, and the other 2 are Josh and Sarah. Josh spends half his week and most weekends at his girlfriend's place. He is mostly out of the picture. That just leaves Sarah and myself. For me, I see this as a living arrangement because it is. I'm friendly with everyone, but I keep some distance. I usually spend my days in the library, lectures, or at home gaming. Door usually open unless I play with friends or have my girlfriend over. So yesterday, Sarah approached me with a request, but it felt more like a demand. Her brothers are coming to visit, and since her family does not know she is living with two guys, she is coming from a Muslim family who might see this as a big deal. She wants to keep it a secret. She is asking me to leave the apartment next weekend and move all of my toiletries into my room. The problem from my side is simple. I do not have a place to go. I'm not asking my girlfriend to spend a weekend at her place. She is visiting her family this week and won't be back until next week. We're not at the stage of the relationship where this is something reasonable to ask. If the roles were reversed, I'd probably say yes but feel very awkward about this, so I told Sarah that. Where am I supposed to stay? Sleep in the library? She kinda dismissively turned around and told me, that is your problem to solve. That attitude right there pissed me off beyond words. I'm in a pickle. On one hand, I'm livid. I want to tell her to mind her own business and just deal with the fact that she has male roommates. But Josh, who is close with Sarah and agreed already to spend the time away, reminded me to have an open mind about her situation. I do not feel like spending 150 to 200 euros, money that I do not have, on a hotel when I'm paying rent. But Sarah already told me that she expects me to solve it by myself. She won't pay for a hotel, which leads me to the question, would I be the arsehole here if I tell Sarah to just suck it? On a different note, with this happening, I'm already starting to look for a new apartment. This is not the first unreasonable request, but the previous ones were tiny in comparison, like asking me to please store my toothbrush in my room because she does not like neon yellow as a color. Gives her a headache every morning. Ended up buying a new brush early. I mean, there's absolutely OP's not the arsehole, not even a tiny bit. But if the situation had played out differently, I know this is a hypothetical here, but if she approached it differently and said, come up to OP and said, look, Winston, I'm in a really difficult situation. My brothers are visiting and my family doesn't know I live with male roommates, and just says something like, I know this is a huge ask, but would you be willing to stay elsewhere for the weekend? I'd cover a hotel completely and really appreciate the help. That's respectful. That says that you understand it's difficult for Winston and you're putting him in an awkward position as well. I think if someone came up to me and said that, I would potentially be saying yes to that because I'd understand the situation. She's paying for the hotel as well and being respectful about it. But what she actually did, making demands, offered nothing, and said that's your problem to solve? You cheeky so-and-so. At this point, I'd be just turning around to her and saying, no, this is all a you problem to solve. I'm not going nowhere. So absolutely, you're not being unreasonable in this situation at all. But Commodore says to OP, not the arsehole. You pay equal rent. Your roommates are not allowed to make you leave for any amount of time. Ask Sarah if she'll pay for your hotel. That matches her entitlement just fine. OP says I did ask her. She said flat out no. Looking a bit annoying and offended by the suggestion. Bloody hell. Commodore says nope, not the arsehole. If she had offered to pay for a hotel, or if she even acknowledged that this is a big favor to ask and was nice, then maybe. But even then, it is a big ask and she's acting entitled. And really? The color yellow gives her headaches? OP says, I wish I was making it up. It was my first 2 months in the apartment and I just got a new toothbrush. Back then, I wanted to start on a good footing. Just jumping on the back of that comment. But I have to say, neon colors gives me headaches too. And they also flash at me when I look at them. There's almost like a flashbang in my eyes. I'm not sure if it's anything to do with my color blindness at all, but never actually looked too far into it. But anyway, I'm going off as usual. The commenter says to OP, sweet God, not the arsehole. An outsider's perspective is probably superfluous and you know it. In what circumstances is it okay to ask someone to do this? Put every onus on her to deal with her family. Stay the fuck put and make a point of doing this. You live there for fuck's sake. OP says, thing is, Josh's reaction made me second guess myself. But seeing the replies, I think I made up my mind. Commodore says, you're staying with a princess. She should pay for your hotel room, otherwise you stay put. Her brothers will remove her. Then it's her problem. OP says, well, We each have a key to our own room. That is what I like very much about the apartment. These are not one key fits all locks. These are proper keys, and each key only opens one door. So I lock my door. The only way to get in is to break it down. That being said, the doors are not sturdy. Half a year ago, Josh lost balance and fell through his door. Lock cracked out with the frame. If they want to get in, they will get in. Commoner says, are they visiting or staying overnight? Opie says they would be staying from Friday to Sunday. Commoner says, you are new to the apartment. I swear I heard a similar story about a roommate that said the same thing to her roommates, asking her male roommates to leave the apartment so her family does not know. But this is the same roommate. She needs to cut this out and get her act together. She's not entitled to demand such big favors from roommates. Opie says moved in last year. They've been living there for 3 years now. So within the next 24 hours, Opie gives a couple of updates. The first one says, thank you for all the replies and some DMs I've received. I've decided on a plan of action. I will tell her no. I will tell her that I do not have the money to pay for a hotel, that I do not have a place I can simply crash on. I will also have Josh sit in. I've posted a message in the group chat effectively calling for a meeting tonight. I will explain my situation calmly and why I do not intend to leave on my own dime. I'm happy to play a role in the family visit, to actively show that I have no personal ties with Sarah by minding my own business. I like the petty ideas, but I'm not the type of person to pour gas onto the fire. Furthermore, I've put out feelers to look for a new apartment with some friends from university. One friend is looking to move out from his parents' place and we get along fine gaming. I think this is the point at which the drama is getting too expensive on my mind, so a clean cut is the best option. Next update, this has taken a sour turn. I requested the sit down. Sarah took this as a no on my part and texted a long rant on WhatsApp. To simplify it and translate it down to you from German, I'm not going to let you ruin my relationship with my family. If you do not want to leave, you can pay for the hotel and I expect you to move out by the end of January. The cherry on top, Josh just posted a thumbs up. Oh, fucking hell. So I got a few things moving. I contacted the landlord about my lease. I asked him for his permission to use him as an emergency contact in case Sarah tries something funny like changing the locks on me. He flat out told me to call him first if that happens, because then he will call the police. We have a shared lease. We are each listed as tenants and he needs to approve changes to the lease. So I'm currently in the bus with my most important documents and I'm storing them at my girlfriend's place. I explained the situation and she gave me permission to store some of my things. But she also said her roommate would not appreciate a guy suddenly sleeping over when she herself is not there. I'm worried about what else is to come, but I'm following the suggestion and precautions texted here and in DMs. I'm preparing for a storm. Instantly, the Odysseus storm song pops into my head. Brace for a storm. OP, a couple of days later, comes in with another update and said, yesterday evening, I went on the offensive. The drama unfolded quite predictably. The comments here was very helpful on what to brace for. I told Sarah no. I told her that even if I wanted to, I do not have the money for a hotel, and since I'm paying rent and do not have an alternative, I will stay. Sarah was upset. She yelled at me how selfish I am being, demanded again that I move out at the end of the month. I responded that I will not do that I'd start looking for an apartment. I'm too sick of this situation here. But that I will use the time I legally have to look for a new apartment. This turned into a circle argument that this is not about legal BS but a matter of principle. In the end, I made my point clear. I will move out eventually, but I also made it clear that I would take my utilities like the coffee maker I bought and everyone is using and a greater jab, the washing machine is mine. Theirs broke down a while before I moved in. I bought one from my previous apartment and was happy to bring it. Did not expect anyone to pay shares and put it in as a community usage. This sparked another screaming match. Josh even tried to argue that as it is now communal property, I waived ownership, which is bullshit. Details to that part are not important, just more of the same followed for almost an hour. Point is, my important documents are secure at my girlfriend's place. The landlord is in the picture and I will update him later today. I also documented the state of my property this morning. Still get the Amazon and electronic store receipts just in case for the community property. However, taking some notes from the more petty advices, I will move the coffee maker to my girlfriend's place today. She loves this coffee maker and I figure I'd rather make her happy than my roommates. Commodore says, with the updates I'm rather surprised that Josh was okay with it, given that he could very easily be next on Sarah's hit list. However, in this case, I guess the fact that he spends so much time at his girlfriend's place means he feels he does not need to get involved. I think the thing to do is tell your landlord that Sarah's demanded you leave, so you'll be breaking the lease agreement as soon as you have a place to go to, and that you will pay for your share of the rent for the month where you are partially resident. It works out in your favor if you leave towards the end of the month, and it works in his favor if you leave early in the month. The issue of the apartment security deposit might come up. I'm not familiar with German tenancy rules, but typically the landlord in Sweden just takes a security deposit and it ends up to the tenants between them to figure out the shares. In that case, you'll be getting your share of the security deposit back from Josh and Sarah, either now or when they leave, and good luck getting money out of them once you've moved out. Personally, I would ask for a walkthrough with the landlord. Bonus points if you can do that during Sarah's family visit, so they can see the state of your room and the shared spaces are in, and that he can sign something to the effect that he's inspected and is happy that you have no liability. You then force Josh and Sarah to pay your 1/3 of the security deposit before you leave. Opie says, we have a shared lease. When I moved in, I replaced an old tenant. He moved out on day 1. The landlord organized the handover protocols on day 1, had contractors in on day 5, and I moved in on day 14. The old tenant got his share back minus the agreed upon amount, and I paid 1/3 of the total deposit. Everyone has a 1/3 stake and everyone is responsible for their room. Shared stakes in the kitchen and bathroom, agreed upon in the contract, which share of the deposit would cover which rooms. Commodore says not the arsehole, but your updates are confusing and a bit sus, though it may be a language and cultural barrier. First, why does Sarah have the right to tell you to move out? If all 3 of you are on the lease, she has no power to throw you out. Second, the group chat vibes are hella sus. Have you all been fighting or something? Because what you recounted reads very much like you are the problem roommate, and the other 2 have been trying to get rid of you for a while. Not like a fresh new situation, like the one this post is actually about. Opie responded saying, she does not have the power to force me out. These contracts are quite clear on that matter in Germany. I will post an update later once I have permission from the mods, exceeding the maximum number of characters at the moment. I think in their eyes I'm indeed the problem roommate, and I think it stems from me having different expectations to a shared apartment. In my opinion, my obligations to the apartment are being friendly and obeying the rules, like cleaning dishes immediately and cleaning up after myself in the bathroom and kitchen, as well as doing the weekly cleaning on time. What I do not want to do is participate in activities I do not enjoy. That has been a source of friction, in particular between Sarah and myself. To give you a context, I study biochemistry and spend a lot of time at the library. The exams at my university are tough, so if you want that top grade, you need to study a lot. My regular day looks like this: lectures in the morning, library in the afternoon, and 3 days a week I work at a bar. When I get home, I am usually quite exhausted and want to either spend time with my girlfriend, get into bed, or meet up with my friends in the city or online. Josh and Sarah, on the other hand, spend their free time preferably as a group in the apartment. Sarah, Josh, and Josh's girlfriend, they play board games, watch movies, gossip, and so on. I did join a few times in the beginning, but the type of gossip was just draining. Who slept with whom of people I did not know, or what kind of backstabbery is happening in their extended friend groups. I do not enjoy drama, not as a movie, not in real life, so I chose to keep my distance a bit. Still participating in the chores and doing my share, but you are right. There has been a passive-aggressive tone for a while, ever since me joining went from several times a week to maybe once a month. Not abruptly, but gradually. It is in my opinion that Sarah enjoys drama. Like really enjoys it, and that might be why this is now boiling over so violently, metaphorically speaking. And Opie adds a couple more final comments and says, final update posted. I have one more, a tiny one, but I've been laughing the last 5 minutes about it. I moved the coffee maker yesterday. This morning I've received a notification about an expense input from Sarah. For your information, we use an app to track shared expenses. It gives you the option to assign charges. This morning, Sarah added one expense assigned to me. Coffee. Attached, a Starbucks bill roughly €12. My response again, following some petty advice. I assigned a charge to her titled. It was German, but roughly translated into consequence taxes. German does not have a neat word for entitlement. The exact translation is a legal term that is used differently. Opie also says there'll be no more updates unless something groundbreaking happens. Just a small one from today. I already moved the coffee maker. In retaliation, I've received a charge on our shared expenses app, €12 for coffee with an attachment of a Starbucks receipt. I've been taking notes from the more petty comments. I connected a charge. Basically, the way the app works is that a charge can be updated. Person A says, I want X for this. Person B says that I will deduct Y for that. And deducted €12 for consequence taxes. Gee bloody whiz, the fact that she's trying to charge you €12 or being passive aggressive about the €12 for Starbucks after you removed your coffee machine. It pretty much just says a whole attitude from the very beginning, right? That she was the problem all along. It's pretty much like she thinks she owns the place, doesn't she? The fact that she thought she could just throw you out of the apartment is wild. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, it's absolutely amazing. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love. Your cheeky so-and-so.